I found this at your station.
I'll be back before you even know I'm gone.
I sure hope you're right about this.
Oh, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen, you said? No aliens on board, you said.
Do you really have to bring that up now?
What are we gonna do about,
Don't worry about it, alright? If we come across it, we'll deal with it. For now, let's just focus on the task at hand. At this rate, you're going to end up setting the whole ship on fire.
Sorry, it's just... the less we see of this creature, the better.
The only movie in the franchise that I saw prior to this one was Alien Covenant, and I thought that it was an okay horror movie. However, I knew that the only way to understand how a proper Alien movie is done is to go back to its roots, to the beginning, to see how it all began, and to see why it became such a staple of the genre it is today. What makes it such a pinnacle of the horror and science fiction genre? What about it makes the marriage of those two genres work so well? Does it still hold up 40 years after its initial release? Let's find out.
This leads right to the archive room. If the coordinates are in there, we'll find them.
How do you know the code?
I don't. Got into the vent.
Don't worry, we can still get the files. Or not.
If you hurry, you can save the file before it gets destroyed.
I can't find it.
What do you mean you can't find it?
It's not on here. I'm searching through everything and there's nothing.
We gotta go!
We'll take the back exit. Well, guess that's the end of that.
Not necessarily. The command station has a backup of all the files. We just need to find a way to get there. Okay, it looks like we can cut through the barracks and save some time.
Right off the bat, the movie draws you in with its near-silent music and creepy atmosphere. The production design of the ship makes it feel that something is not quite right. Even though the monster is nowhere on board, you can't help but wonder that something's not quite right with the ship. Within the movie's opening minutes, we are introduced to each member of the crew, including, of course, Sigourney Weaver's iconic portrayal of Ripley. However, she's not really highlighted as the hero of the story. It's crazy to think that one of the most iconic protagonists in science fiction started out as just one of the crew. The movie doesn't try to divert your attention towards Ripley, but rather makes her part of this larger cast of characters. When we get to the end of this movie, it feels like she just so happened to be the lone survivor. The movie always kept you guessing as to which crew member would be the next to go. Now let's talk about the xenomorph. We don't have that iconic chest-bursting scene until about halfway through the movie. That being said, any and all appearances of the xenomorph are used for a purpose and drive the story forward. This movie preys on your imagination, and it's what you don't see that terrifies you the most. Even when you do have a shot which shows the monster in all its glory, it's still pretty terrifying. What keeps this movie grounded is that there's a very blue-collar vibe to it. These crew members are no stranger to distress calls and understand that while it may be outside their field of work, it's not above their pay grade. And what's horrifying for them is that they were just trying to do their job, but now they're sucked into this, not only this horrible nightmare, but also this massive conspiracy, as we later find out. The fact that this is the environment and this is the protocol that they have to follow, the twist that comes later on in the movie is all the more shocking. Well, at least that thing won't get us in here.
Don't say that. That'll just make it more likely for him to find us.
You download the file. I'll cover the door. think it's gone.
We got it. I'll punch in the override code. We're good.
Wait. Oh shit! Run! I will admit, some of the acting feels a little wooden, mostly in the first half. The actors feel like they're just reading their lines for the first time rather than properly acting them out. They kind of just sound bored and, yeah, come on, let's just get this over with. Which I guess you could say is the effect they were going for. They just woke up from Cairo sleep, they're a little bit dozy, they really don't want to be working, but they have to. Still, for the amount of time they're up and about, they would have gotten over that. But regardless, I just think the acting in the first half is a little wooden, that's all. You know the trope where every time characters split off, one of them dies? I'm starting to think this movie might have pioneered that trope. Because every time somebody goes off on their own in this movie, they die. Oh, this cat went the other way. I'll go follow it. You guys stay here. That person dies. Even though they make it clear that they gotta stick together, they go off on their own, somebody dies. Somebody crawls in the vents to hunt the alien down. They die. If I'm not mistaken, this movie came out before the huge slasher craze of the 80s. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was the originator of that trope, or that cliche.
Then go start up the ship.
Yeah, you don't do that. I'm gonna go over here. Oh. I'm glad that's over.
I got it.
Alien does have some shoddy acting and does submit to horror movie tropes from time to time, but other than that, it's a fantastic film. The effects that are done are amazing. The cinematography is beautiful and tense building. The atmosphere of terror and the way it builds up this horrifying monster, this thing to fear in the dark, they still hold up today, even after so many years. I highly recommend for any fan of the sci-fi horror genre to watch it, because it is a total incredibles. What, you thought I was going to give this movie a bad review? Of course not. We found it. We found it!
And it's only a quick jump away.